Morena whānau, I'm just putting this video together before I head out. Here's a research question about the Whare Wananga Whakapapa. I was reading recently kōrero from Sam Robinson's koro Takao. He said in the Whare Wananga there were 4 strands of what he knew, what he could remember, that there were 4 strands of whakapapa that taught the coming forth of the universe. One of them that he knew and was taught to memorize as a child was the Rarotimu whakapapa. This tātai itself began within the water, and then from the water it emerged and it evolved into to land creatures and so on and so forth. He also spoke of another tātai whakapapa which came from Matiaha Tirimorihu. Matiaha Tirimorihu said that the atua sang the universe into existence. So both of these whakapapa here, that of the Rarotimu and that of Matiaha Tirimorihu, gives us a better understanding of the curriculum of the Whare Wananga in Ngaitahi. It was Remy Edwards that said that when he gave his recitation on the sacred recitals of the Ngākahi Whare Wananga, he said he's only giving 1 strand, and yet he said the Ngāpuhi Whare Wananga has several. We know that this is true because of the whakapapa I've shared in my PowerPoint from Marta Lawrence and others as well. The whakapapa is a little bit like what Shane Taruki says, or Whare Wananga whakapapa is like a wheel. So in the middle is the Supreme Being, and different tātai come off the Supreme Being, or different types of whakapapa, and those are the spokes of the wheel. Now, one whakapapa from Tainui, or Shane's whakapapa that he has, starts with aha. Another one starts with te ahau. Another one starts with simply the Supreme Being, and so on and so forth. Now, each one of these strands or spokes teaches a certain aspect of the sacred recitals of the Whare Wananga. So a tohunga, for instance, might say, all right, what are we teaching today? Well, we're going to teach the coming forth of the cosmos by this whakapapa here. And then we're going to pull out one epoch or one generation and we're going to call it all on that. Or one day they might say we're going to grab this whakapapa here and talk about the stars, for instance, as this whakapapa has the stars in its tātai. So we might concentrate on that, a tohunga might think. So what are some of the criteria that we can use when looking at whakapapa to determine what's Whare Wananga whakapapa and what's not? Now, does it matter what is Whare Wananga whakapapa and what's not Whare Wananga whakapapa? Absolutely, it does. And in an upcoming video, I'll talk about that. So here's some of the criteria you can use to determine what's Whare Wananga whakapapa and what's not. Because what we want to do is gather as much whakapapa for each particular Whare Wananga, to then start to put together in fragmentary form, obviously, what the curriculum of each Whare Wananga look like. So here's some of the criteria. Mātaurahanga says, does the whakapapa have the partners, the husbands or the wives? And if it doesn't, it's not Whare Wananga whakapapa. One or single line tātai for outside of the Whare Wananga. We have to ask ourselves, who's the informant? Who's the tohunga? Is that tohunga well known to have knowledge? Was this informant a kaituhi at a Whare Wananga? Or was this person a descendant of a tohunga? Or a chief, or someone of knowledge, a mohio? How old is this whakapapa? The age of a whakapapa, according to some, Mairito, who else? Simmons, Tipini O'Regan reckons the older it is, the more reliable it is. I have a question mark there because, well, I'll put another question, 3 more question marks, because the oldest stuff doesn't necessarily mean that that's the orthodoxy, that we can take that as set in stone, that that's how it's supposed to be because it's the most oldest. The idea behind the old whakapapa is that it has less time, it hasn't gone through different keepers, it hasn't been handed down generation from generation, and it hasn't been tampered with or hasn't been influenced by Pākehā or Christian ideas. So that's the thought behind the older the kōrero it is, the more reliable it is. Another key is, can we cross-reference it? So can we take one tātai from one tribe and compare it to another one from a different informant, and do they match up? Okay, and are these two people independent of one another, or are they relatives? Okay, so you have to consider that. So these are just some of my thoughts. Some of you might be able to add some more to it. Obviously, it's not an exhaustive analysis here, but these are some of the things that I've been thinking about this morning. Kia ora.